let's get the third trading day of the week started, 14th of December. I am Boason Omofaye. This is your frontier opening bell. The Nigerian stock market softened roughly 0.09%. That's roughly about 0.1% on Tuesday. We saw a bit of a pullback in the shares of the largest listed telco, that's MTN Nigeria. That was balanced by a few other names within the banking industry, goods such as Boason Cement and a few others. So the market managed to finish off still positive, by the way, around the equity cap, and we did roughly 140 million ordinary shares, MTN accounting for a chunk, roughly 2 billion naira of total turnover value for the second day of the week. The BRVM was up 0.33%, and you can see the NSC, that's the Nairobi stock market. After the Independence Day holiday on Monday, the market came roaring 1.07%, the first trading day of the week on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, 127.81 on the all-share index. The South African market went up roughly 2% yesterday with a positive reading across the global developed and emerging markets. That was part of what South Africa is 75,000, crossed a new threshold yesterday from 75,835.4, and the Egyptian market got a whole lot bigger, started Monday around 0.93%, much bigger, 2.90%, printing on Tuesday, across the new reading as well on the EGX 30, 15,150. So let's look into the headlines as far as the economic, investment, business and markets concerned. With Tanzania external debt at $27.5 billion US dollars, while Mauritius Central Bank reporting to raise interest rates, part of the final decision making of monetary policies for the year. And the country is looking to issue about $1 billion in social bonds to boost clean energy production on the Indian Ocean island. Rwanda is securing about $320 million from the IMF, which is part of the new climate funding program that the International Monetary Fund has put together. Rwanda is also one of the first two countries in the world to secure roughly $40 million to support food sustainability and food supply from the IMF as well. Two of the new funds that the IMF is putting in place to support countries around the world. Kenya and South Sudan said they've signed a new deal around cargo sharing after lifting barriers between the two countries. Kenya in East Africa and South Sudan, part of the Sahel region. Now, the KCB, a banking group of Tanzania with the home base in Kenya, says it's issuing its first Islamic bond worth roughly $4.4 million US dollars. The currency, of course, in the local currency within the Tanzanian market. Tanzania has one of the robust Islamic finance markets east of the continent. The Nigerian West African markets coming straight into play. Ghana yesterday, congratulations, secured $3 billion in funding bailout from the International Monetary Fund after weeks and weeks of discussions and tinkering with the numbers and what reforms the Nana Akufo-Addo's administration has to do to secure that particular funding. But Ghana is owing roughly $3.5 billion in terms of credit, and how that will be paid is still anyone's guess. But what the new horizon is, we'd like to see. But for now, at least that's some good news that the administration in Accra can use. $55 billion US dollars is what Joe Biden's administration is placing on the table in front of African leaders and Africa business men, investors who are looking to do business with the continent as part of the ongoing 3-day US-Africa Leaders Summit, which will conclude tomorrow. Today, we expect US President Joe Biden to make a major announcement and address the summit. Various aspects of conversations going on, from energy to climate change to health, education, security, among others within Africa. This is the first major interface between Joe Biden's administration and the entire African continent. Coca-Cola company says he's putting Luisa Ortega as the new president to oversee operating activities across the African continent. And that announcement came in yesterday from the International Bottling Company. Unity Bank is a tier 2 listed Nigerian bank on the NGX, says it's going to bring about gross profit of about $47 million in its first quarter of next year. Those forecasts were announced through the Nigerian Exchange on Tuesday. OPEC sticks to its 2022-2023 oil demand growth forecast. That announcement came yesterday in its monthly reports. This morning, the International Energy Agency says it sees global oil out demand to be stronger next year. That's coming from the IEA. That's part of the breaking news to start the day on the back of what OPEC reported on Tuesday. Then you've got Mali and the World Bank putting pen to paper, signing two financing deals worth about 287 million euros, while Gabon's commercial reinsurance, the SCG raised public offer, posted a whopping 113% overbought. That's one of the biggest in Gabon, one of the countries within the CEMAC region, which is the Central African markets. That's the big news across the West Africa and Nigeria space. Looking to Southern Africa, Zeda, listed on the GSE today after Ballowworld unbundling, is a standalone company now doing car rentals and other type of businesses in the automobile space in South Africa. South Africa's business confidence index came in yesterday, went up in the month of November, according to the South Africa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And U.S. firm Equinix is looking to invest about 2.8 billion rand in South Africa's data center entry. And congratulations to Senegal's former Minister of Economy, Amadou, who's now been appointed by the AfDB president as a special envoy in charge of the Alliance for Green Infrastructure in Africa. That umbrella under the AfDB is looking to raise at least $500 million to support green infrastructure across the African continent. And that's a part of New Horizon that the AfDB president, Dr. Akoumi Adesina, is putting forward, and under the leadership of the Senegalese former minister in charge of economy. Let's get on, touch on with North Africa. Libya's oil minister is looking at oil production of about 1.2 million barrels, 1.6 million barrels per day over the 3-year period. Libya needs every dollar in the barrel of oil to support the rebuilding of the Libya's economy. With some forecasts that oil prices could go higher next year, this will be good news for the North African economy. And the British company Chariot says it's reached a deal on Morocco's gas sales to Europe, while Morocco's BCP receives about 25 million euros in funding for Greener Future initiative. And finally, Saudi Sovereign Fund wants to buy Egypt's United Bank for about 600 million US dollars. That's a chunk of money on the table, if you ask me. And that's about it for today on Your Frontier Opening Bell. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.